The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Today is all things Houston Texans. We're going to go back into 2024, review the past, and project into 2025 for this season. Metro, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir. All things Houston Texans. Let's hop into it.
All right, Metro, as I mentioned about 30 seconds ago, we need to go back into 2024 and review the past before we project into the future. In 2024, this is where the Houston Texans were. 10-7 on the season. We ranked 19th in points scored for offense in the entire league of 32. And then on defense for points allowed, we had 14th, which is right at league average, 372 points total. So we're pretty much mid all over the place for this team. What was your analysis with your better, more advanced statistics on this team?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I have some more broad statistics that talk about specific aspects of their offense and defense. Obviously, Texans last year, bit of a disappointing year given where their expectations were at. Still made the playoffs, still won a playoff game. So all things considered, even despite maybe a bit of a down year, things still went okay enough. In terms of those numbers, 18th in points per game at 22.0, 16th in yards per game at 329.4, about middle of the pack on third down, top 10 on fourth down, very below average in red zone scoring percentage. I think that probably has to do a lot with the offensive line. 2.2 touchdowns per game at 21st. Running the football, they were about middle of the pack in almost every statistic. And passing the football, they were also relatively solid in almost every aspect. The one big concerning piece that we're going to talk about in a lot more detail in a little bit, because it's still probably going to be a bit of an issue, quarterback sack rate of 9.34%. That was the 30th worst in the league last year. You want to get that down to, less than 7% ideally. So that's not very good. Defensively speaking, though, a lot of bright spots to talk about here. 10th in opponents' points per game, 2nd in opponents' yards per game, 12th in opponents' touchdowns per game, dominant on third down. A little bit below average in red zone scoring percentage, so you got to get that cleaned up. Top 5 to top 10 in run defense, and one of the better pass coverage defenses out there. They have a sack percentage of 8.4% and an opponent's interception thrown rate of 3.76%. So a lot to like here about Houston, even in a year where things weren't pretty and perfect. You still ranked pretty well in most categories. Defensively speaking, this is it's a nasty defense. I mean, there's really no weaknesses to it. And, again, for me, the big topic here is about this offensive line. That's the biggest thing we're going to talk about in terms of the negatives. But in terms of what happened in 2024 and 2023, obviously Stroud's rookie year was great. Last year he took some steps back, I think because primarily of the offensive line. But a lot of things to like here with this Texans team.
Really well said, man. And speaking of Coleridge Stroud, when we go back into 2024 last season, we can see his stats. Yards are down about 400 overall, nothing too bad. But touchdowns are down 3 touchdowns, and interceptions are up 7, changing her passer rating in 2023 of 100 flat to 87 in 2024. This had a lot to do with the O-line in the O-line play, giving up a lot of sacks, allowing a lot of pressure. And then also a little bit of a sophomore slump as well. It's not all on the O-line, also on Coleridge Stroud as well. Anything else you want to cover about 2024, or you want to go into their free agency period in 2025?
Yeah, 2024, obviously Coleridge, Bernard, Stroud did not have the greatest year, but in general the defense was fantastic, so a lot to like about the future. And in terms of free agency, it was pretty clear and obvious their biggest priority here was surrounding Coleridge with as much talent as possible. And they did it in kind of a unique way. So
let's talk about it, man. Free agency period, the biggest signing. Actually, hold on a minute. I like to see the out players before I talk about the in because it really explains it better. Let's talk about who they released and who they traded. Guard Shaq Mason out the door. He got released. Traded away. Tackle Laramie Tunsil. The whole argument here was he wasn't a leader in the locker room. Pretty good at blocking, and he was probably our best O-lineman, if not guaranteed our best O-lineman. But he's out the building. He's going to the Commanders. And then guard Kenyon Green also out the building. So 3 O-linemen that were not part of the problem, but in the room, all gone. You need to account for that here in 2024. Now let's talk about how they filled those gaps going into 2025. Biggest signing. 1-year deal, Cam Robinson, the tackle. He will play that tackle position where Laramie Tunsil was. 1 year, $14.5 million. Another big signing, Sheldon Rankins, the defensive interior, 1 year, $7 million deal. Edge Darren Taylor, 1 year, $5 million deal. And then there's that guard Laken Tomlinson, 1 year, $4 million. We have a bunch of more signings, but those are the big ones. And I also want to mention some trades right here as well. Guard Ed Ingram, we traded for, and then traded for safety CJ Gardner-Johnson, and then lastly traded for wide receiver Christian Kirk. And one more thing, man, y'all had a busy offseason. Extended Derek Stingley Jr., your cornerback, for 3 years, $90 million in brand new money. Metro, what was your favorite move of this offseason? I know there's a lot of talk about, not offseason, but free agency. Favorite move, and then also your most questionable move.
Yeah, a lot to talk about here with their free agency cycle because, like you mentioned, 3 guards, tackles out the door, a handful of new ones in. My favorite move, I love the fact they got ahead of the contract of Derek Stingley. I also love the CJ Gardner-Johnson move. Yes, he can be a bit of a headache in terms of locker room and just personality and stuff, but he's a damn good ball player, and he can just continue to make that secondary much better. In terms of their actual free agency, like who they signed from free agency, I think there's some questionable moves here. We'll start off with the Laramie Tunsil trade because that's the talk of the town. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like Laramie just on a random, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, just pops up on my For You page. Hey, you got traded. I'm like, whoa. Laramie Tunsil's a damn good player, man. It's hard to find tackle play like him. I know he had a bit of a down year last year. Penalties, some really untimely penalties at that, and obviously not being necessarily a locker room leader. My stance has been consistent on this the whole time. I just don't think you get rid of top, upper echelon tackles, even if they're having a bit of a down year, even if they're not necessarily your favorite person in the locker room. It's so hard to replace those guys. And I understand wanting to find culture fits, wanting to find guys who set the brand of your offensive line. But to me, it's like, man, you just cutting or getting rid of Laramie Tunsil is tough. Granted, you did make the move for CJ, so it's kind of like, okay, you traded Laramie, you bring back some pieces, you get CJ Gardner-Johnson. So those things all kind of cancel each other out. So, you get rid of Laramie Tunsil, you bring in Cam Robinson. I think Cam Robinson's a fine tackle. It's a 1-year deal, so he's just going to be there for a year. Maybe they re-sign him. He's quality. He's not as good as Tunsil, but he'll get the job done. Lincoln Tomlinson, probably going to be your starting guard. I don't love it. I just don't think at this stage of his career he's that good anymore. He's definitely a capable starter. He can, he's not going to be a huge problem for you, but he's also just not good. Darrell Taylor, edge, a rotational edge rusher. That's always nice to have. Sheldon Rankins, rotational interior defensive lineman. Obviously, good move there. Trent Brown, bit of an older guy, used to be really good. Now it's a bit more up in the air. So I don't know. I feel so like I love this and I hate this and I like this. I like all the guys they re-signed. I feel like the people they brought in terms of trades, like Ed Ingram could be a rotational guard. Christian Kirk, has dealt with injuries, but is a dang good player. But then I'm like, you traded out Tunsil, Green, and Mason, and you replaced them with Robinson, Lake, and Tomlinson, and Trent Brown. I think I'll make the argument that I'd just rather have those guys from last year, honestly.
Fair, really fair argument. Like, all you can say, we can say one thing for sure. They're not sitting on their hands, man. Houston was working this offseason. So whatever they wanted in their building, they got it. And whether they pay or flourish, we will find out here pretty soon. Are you ready to go to the draft or anything else you want to talk about here? Because we have a lot to talk about if there's anything else you have left.
We didn't talk about EJ Speed, the linebacker. This is a guy who was really, really good for the Colts between 2022 and 2023. Last year, played 1,000 snaps as a starting linebacker. He's 30 years old, so he's a veteran, but they didn't really need linebackers too bad. This is just another awesome addition to this unit. But, in terms of free agency, what would you grade their moves, taking into account everything that happened? It's really tough to grade because there's just a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah, it's like whenever you make like a fantasy football trade and there's like 5 players on each side, it's like, I don't know how the hell to look at this. So with that being said, B-. I trust this franchise, okay? Yeah. Am I questioning your Laramie Tunsil trade? No questions asked. But hopefully you figure it out after this year. But this is like a B- with like a, hey, shady future ahead if we don't find a tackle for our quarterback in Coleridge. What's your grade for Houston?
Yeah, I'm at a B. Again, we talked a bit about Laramie Tunsil, but I do think Cam Robinson's a fine temporary starter. We'll see what the guard situation looks like. You got a lot of mid and below mid, just meh guys there. And I really worry about that other tackle spot. Again, we'll talk a bit more about that in more detail here in a moment. But in terms of free agency, I'm also with you around a B. And in terms of the draft, though, fun little draft here.
Real fun draft. Let's go through each one of these picks super quick and give off some names. 2 second-round picks. We have Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State. And then we have Deontay Essery, the Minnesota offensive tackle. In the 3rd round, we got 2 third-round picks as well. Jalen Noel, the Iowa State wide receiver. And then Jalen Smith, the USC cornerback. 4th round, we got Woody Marks, another USC player, the running back from that school. 6th round, 2 6th-round picks. Jalen Reed, Penn State, safety. Graham Ertz, Florida, the quarterback, and then 2 7th-round picks to cap this off. Keontae Hamilton, Rutgers, the D tackle, and then Luke Leachy, the Iowa tight end. Across the board, Metro, you want to go one by one through these players because a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, just run through them really quickly. Jaden Higgins, I was a big fan of him. I could have taken him round 1. I would have felt really good about him. He's long, lengthy, has a pretty wide route tree, can make plays deep, can make plays underneath, can make plays in the middle. Just a very Nico Collins-like player. He's not the fastest guy. He's pretty dang strong. He's well built. I just think he's a pretty polished player straight out of college, and I feel really confident about his skill set, especially when Nico Collins is injured because he's pretty consistently injured. Higgins is like the perfect guy for that spot.
Heck yeah, man. Higgins, for me, same thing you said on all those points. You could have taken him in the 1st and felt really good about it. The fact you get him here at the front of the 2nd, I absolutely love it too. And then let's go to Deontay Essery just because we talked about Higgins real quick. Go ahead.
Didn't they trade back for Higgins, by the way?
You're right. They were in the 1st. So they also acquired capital and got him as well. That's an A-plus mood for me. I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, go ahead and Essery. I'll look at the details of the trade.
Sounds good, man. Essery was a tackle going into 2024's college football season. He was projected to be a no-brainer first-round tackle. Had a good season, not great. His thing is he's got plenty of length. He's a good player. He just can't bend super well on the edge. That's A-okay. We'll take a flyer on that with that kind of talent in the 2nd round. Like we just mentioned, we're going to need a tackle here pretty soon. Hopefully, Essery is that guy. You got those details on this trade?
Yeah, they traded with the Giants. I think the Giants trade up for Jackson Dart, and they got the 34th pick. And I can't find the actual details of it for whatever reason. It's kind of weird, but I'm sure they got another future draft pick in the process of that. So double thumbs up. You get, of course, Jaden Higgins. You also get additional capital. My thoughts on Essery, he might be forced to start in his rookie year, can play tackle, can play guard. Big, strong dude, can move people, but yes, he's a little bit physically limited with just his general size. But I think his first, when he gets his hands on you, is really strong. And I do think for his size, he's actually a fairly athletic dude. So I was a big fan of that pickup.
Heck yeah. Let's go to the 3rd round where we have Jalen Noel. I don't know how to say it correctly, but this guy can flat out fly. 4.38 in the 40-yard dash. The teammate of Jaden Higgins on Iowa State. It's yin and yang, man. You got a speedster and you got a guy who can run every route on the outside in Jaden Higgins. Noel fits this scheme really well. And it does kind of feel like a tank, not replacement, but could definitely go in his spot with his injury history. Good in zone coverage, good in man. He gets open. He takes off with the ball. I like a lot of things in Jalen's game. What were your thoughts on Jalen?
Yeah, a bit more undersized, speed-based. You pair him up with his college teammate and Jaden Higgins, so there's already that relationship and connection there. To also go along with that, it's going to be really interesting. I do think there's a bit of a log jam in this receiving room of undersized slot-ish guys like Tank Dell when he comes back, Christian Kirk, and now Jalen Nolan, John Mechie. So I do kind of worry about that a little bit. So I'm kind of worried about Nolan, where he fits in with all this. But clearly they spent a top pick on him. They're going to utilize him in some fun ways. And then Higgins is, obviously college teammate, bigger size. So we get 2 guys who, as you mentioned, yin and yang. One guy smaller, a bit more athletic. One guy bigger, can do a lot more things with the ball. I watched Iowa State. I can't remember what game it was, but there was a really fun Jalen Noel play that he made a crazy one-handed contested catch. This guy's really fun. So big fan of that pickup. A big fan, honestly, just in general of just keeping those guys together because they make some magic when they're both on the field.
Heck yeah, man. Next prospect, we have Jalen Smith, the USC defensive back. What I see here, I was at the Senior Bowl, and this guy balled out, man. He did press, he did off-ball, he played a little bit in the slot, played on the outside. For the Houston Texans, they don't need a cornerback necessarily, but I can tell you, cornerbacks go down throughout the season. This is the guy they want to be able to step up in any position, and he's got that kind of talent and short area burst, and I'm looking forward to see how they use him in their packages.
Yeah, I I didn't get around to watching Jalen Smith's tape till after the draft because, when you get taken top 100 and he's not on your radar, you got to instantly look at it. So some of the bigger things that I figured on him is that he has the versatility to play multiple positions. He did run fast at the combine, ran a 4.4, but when I was watching film, I didn't feel like he ran incredibly fast. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. I thought he got better year after year, and I think that because he has that versatility, because he can play press man coverage, there's some things I like about him. I do think he's a bit of a project because he's a little bit undersized, and again, as I mentioned, I don't think he's the twitchiest guy or has the fastest hips. I don't think his instincts are particularly good, and I just don't think because of his size, he has the play strength to match up with these guys. I do think long-term he's your plan at nickel. If you can get him to work out, you got Stingley, you got Kamari, you have Petrie. Maybe Smith can, end up being that long-term answer at nickel. So for me, when I came away from the tape, I still didn't think I was loving the top 100 pick there, but I felt a little bit better about it after watching the film, after, then reading up on him. I felt a bit more comfortable there. So we'll see. It could be a long-term play at the nickel spot. But just give him time. He needs probably 2 years to develop.
Heck yeah, man. Woody Marks, USC running back, another USC player.
Yep.
Woody Marks, 5'10", 207, excellent hands, excellent out of the backfield. He's your third down back, man. If he was a excellent blocker, I think he goes even higher in the drafts, but overall, he's a good weapon. In the combine, kind of the opposite of Jalen Smith. Smith tested well, but on film, it's like, hey, he doesn't seem super fast. Woody runs faster on film and on the actual turf than he did at the combine because he ran a 4.54. Doesn't look that slow, air quotes. It's still much faster than most players. Slow in the game of football. But I do like the pick. What were your thoughts on Woody?
Yeah, fast, receiving back. One thing we didn't talk about in the free agency process because the PFF doesn't have it updated, they brought in Nick Chubb. So you have Mixon, a little bit older, maybe not as athletic as he used to be. Nick Chubb, clearly injuries have kind of derailed his career. Pierce, a bit more of a bruisier back. So they didn't really have that receiving threat in the backfield, that speedster. You bring in a Woody Marks who, is not going to be your starter, probably won't even be your backup. But on obvious passing downs, you throw him out there, you give him a screen or a swing route, he can make some nice, fun plays out there. So, fine pickup in round 4. Maybe felt a little early for me. Would have preferred him in like a round 5 or 6 pick. But, given the team, given what they needed, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Heck yeah, man. Next, we got Jalen Reed, the safety out of Penn State. Jalen Reed, I'm not familiar with your game. I was looking more at Kevin Winston Jr., TBH. Metro, you got anything on Jalen Reed right here in the 6th round?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good value in round 6. He has the production. He's been in the system for a couple years, was healthy. And I think last year when Kevin Winston went down, really gave an opportunity for Reed to get more opportunities to play in multiple different positions. I don't think he's particularly fast. I also don't think he's like crazy size-wise, but I think there's a lot to like about him in terms of, just being a reliable rotational guy. I don't think he'll ever be a starter, but he's a 6th round pick. So looking at special teams, looking at practice squad stuff, if he can get some spot starts, that'd be sweet, but I'm not banking on it. And I think from here on out, most of these guys will talk about, depth options, rotational pieces, practice squad, that sort of stuff.
Oh, life in the NFL. That's living the dream. Next
That
6th round
is.
pick, we have Graham Mertz, the Florida quarterback. 2 things on Graham Mertz. One, really good game manager. He had his season derailed from a torn ACL in that final season, has a problem staying healthy. What a solid frame overall. And then the second thing I want to say, Florida boy, GM are the initials. Remind you anybody? Gardner Minshew? Maybe one of the next new 6th round pick quarterbacks to take over the league? We shall see. What are your thoughts, Metro?
I don't know if Gardner's ever taken over the league, but I get your point, though. If he can be Gardner Minshew, that'd be sweet, by the way. Like, if they can get that out of him. I do kind of wonder if this pick maybe puts Davis Mills on the clock a little bit. Like, hey, we know you're probably going to get paid somewhere else to be a backup, so we're going to prepare for Mertz, Caden Slovis, too. Game manager in college. I'm never a fan of anyone who's a game manager in college because it's like, okay, if you're only good enough to be a game manager, and not that being a game manager is a bad thing, but there's a difference between being a difference maker and a game manager, especially at the college level. So I always kind of worry about that. But 6th round pick, we'll see if he can be the long-term answer. And then round 7, Keontae Hamilton and Luke Lachey. Cool. We'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
If you take an Iowa tight end,
Yeah,
it can't be that bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, he played a lot of games for the Hawkeyes. 2024, 28 receptions for 231 yards. I was named a permanent team captain. So if you're looking for culture, you're looking for scheme fits, he's got the size. I don't know if he's necessarily the athlete or anything like that. Doesn't really have the productivity, but he gets to learn from Dalton Schultz and Brevin Jordan. Maybe he can make a little name for himself, but wouldn't bank on it.
What I'm hearing from culture and just the overall player sense, Luke Latchey, Laramie Tunsil.
Yes.
Give me Luke all day long. Let's trade his ass away, right?
Yes. If Luke Latchey can play tackle, he'll be your starting tackle next year.
Couldn't have said it better, man. You ready for our depth chart review, offense and defense?
Yes. Start us off with the offense.
Let's do it, man. Offense, we have out wide Nico Collins. And then also we have Jaden Higgins, our rookie pick in the second round. Our traded wide receiver in our slot, Christian Kirk from Jacksonville. Left tackle, brand new, Cam Robinson, taking the spot of Laramie Tunsil. Left guard, Lakin Tomlinson. Center, Jarrett Patterson. Right guard, Titus Howard. Right tackle, Blake Fisher. Tight end, Dalton Schultz. Quarterback, Colston. No, it's not Colston. It's Coleridge.
Coleridge Bernard Stroud.
Thank you very much, my lovely man, Metro. Running back, we have Joe Mixon. Fullback, we have British Brooks. That's a sick name. I'm going to name my kid British. I love that. British is fantastic. But this is our roster. I also mentioned some depth pieces. We have Tank Dell. We have Jalen Noel. We have Eonte Esri behind that left tackle spot. And then, of course, we just signed Nick Chubb, as Metro mentioned. What's your makeup of this offensive lineup, and what are you looking for here in 2025?
I want to see an improvement from the offensive line. That's the biggest thing. This is a very different unit from last year in terms of new faces, new chemistry, new connections. I love what they did with all the weapons on this offense. Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Woody Marks, Damian Pierce. By the way, Pierce's days are totally numbered now. He's probably going to get traded at some point, which is a bummer because he had a really good year like 2 years ago. Receiving core, like a lot of options there. I think they're probably 8 deep with Nico, Christian, when Tank Dell gets back. Higgins, Noel, Mechie has gotten a lot of playing time. Xavier Hutchinson's gotten some run. Braxton Berrios has gotten some run. I think you can even probably run Justin Watson a little bit. So a lot of depth and a lot of options there. I'd imagine that you're going to see a lot of different packages with a lot of receivers, maybe some 5 receiver sets a little bit more often, single quarterbacks. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Single quarterback formations. That's what I was going for. And then on the offensive line, Cam Robb, cool. Can he be better than Laramie? Maybe, maybe not. Ursery, I think, will be stuck inside to play guard at some point. I think he'll probably end up playing left guard at some point. That's my preseason guess right now. Lakin Tomlinson, a little mediocre at this stage of his career. Jarrett Patterson, maybe it's Jake Andrews, maybe it's Drew Scruggs, maybe Ed Ingram moves to center. We don't know. It's a whole bunch of question marks there. Right guard, you can say it's Titus Howard. It could also be Ed Ingram. It could also be Ursery. Howard has that flexibility to play multiple positions, but he's not really a star anywhere. He's just kind of all right. And then Blake Fisher kind of steps now a bit more into that full-time right tackle role, which, we will wait and see how that goes. I worry about this offensive line, man. I worry about it quite a bit. I know it's like Texans fans are so over this conversation, and I understand. If my team was constantly talking about offensive line, I would too. But it's the truth. Last year, it was your Achilles heel, and it's not that dissimilar to last year. It's a very similar unit, and the guys you brought in have a lot of question marks to their name that, frankly, were not better than last year's guys. So I really would have liked to have seen this team go in different directions with the offensive line. Maybe be a bit more aggressive early on in that free agency cycle to bring in like a Will Fries or a Ryan Kelly or some of those guys, but they didn't get to those names early enough. And I think that this offense will be about the same as they were last year, maybe a little bit better. And I worry for Stroud with this offensive line. I worry for Coleridge, Bernard, Stroud.
Man, me too. I won't repeat the offensive line thing because y'all already know it. But
yeah,
the upside is all your receiving weapons. You got Higgins, you got Noel, you got Dell, who even everyone's writing him off. I think he's going to be just fine at some point with his injury. Kirk, Nico, always great players. I'm looking forward to it, man, and a bounce back year from Stroud, your quarterback. What would you rank them? Last year they were 19th in scoring in the league. Where would you predict they're going to go this year?
I do want to throw one thing out before we talk about that. Bobby Slowick out the door. Nick Caley's in the door. Nick Caley, I believe, is coming from the Rams. And if you guys follow the podcast, you guys know we are Rams Glazers. We like to talk a lot about, who's there? Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, those guys. So he was the passing game coordinator for this team last year. And what they're talking about with Nick Caley and Stroud is that they want Stroud to be a bit more of an owner of this offense, run the offensive line, make some changes out there. And that could either go really good or really bad. We've seen some quarterbacks really struggle with the pre-snap, mechanics of an offense where you have to move, offensive linemen around. You have to make some adjustments, some audibles. I think Stroud's a very smart player. I think he's a damn good quarterback. So I do think this will work out. And I think it's about the right time now entering into your third year. So I think this OC gives me a lot of hope. But I'll say I still worry about the offensive line. It's not going to go away. This was, what would you say, the 18th or 19th best offense last year?
Oh, yeah, it was 19th.
Yeah, I'm going to say this year they'll be a bit more top 15. That'll be my guess, top 15, which would be great, by the way.
Oh, it'd be phenomenal. I'm going to go right there like 15, 16. League average, but holding up better. Young weapons getting better. O-line hopefully getting better. And setting a good foundation and a bounce-back year for Coleridge Stroud.
Yes.
You ready to go to the defense?
Yes, they're an offensive line away from being a great offense. Let's talk about the defense.
Let's do it, man. On defense at DN, we have our first-round pick. I've never seen back-to-back first-round picks in the top 5. Will Anderson Jr. had a great year last year. Next to D-tackle, we have Tim Settler Jr. At D-tackle, we have Falurunsko, and then we have – sorry. I practice this pregame too, man. Here we go. Falurunsko, Batasi.
Whoa, no.
Falurunsko,
yes.
Fakasi. There we go.
Sure. Fadukasi.
Fadukasi. Thank you very much, brother. I'm trying out here, man. I practice. I promise I do. Next, we have Daniil Hunter at DN. At linebacker, we have Christian Harris. Middle linebacker, we have Aziz Al-Shair. Linebacker, we have Henry Toto. How do you say his name? Toto?
Yeah, Toto.
Thank you very much. At cornerback, we have Derek Stingley Jr., an absolute monster who we just extended for $90 million. At safety, we have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Free safety, Kalen Bullock. Cornerback, Kamari Lassiter, the Georgia Bulldog. And then nickelback, Jalen Petier. Where do you want to start here? I mean, overall, this unit's looking nasty. A no-fly zone or some really good edge talent, especially Will Anderson Jr., I like what they have here, man. I think they're going to repeat.
Yeah.
Last year, they were ranked 14th in points allowed. I think it only gets better with youth and players just improving over time. What are your thoughts overall?
It's a damn good unit. I love everything about this team. Their front seven is great. I worry maybe a little bit about the interior defensive line because I don't think they have like a really dominant run stuffer. They just have a couple guys who can get to the quarterback and make a few plays, but they do have a lot of depth there. So, yeah, I kind of worry a bit about that, but Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, you add in Darryl Taylor. Your linebackers are fantastic. They're just so good at getting to the quarterback and getting to the running back, and even in covers they're solid. And your secondary is damn good, too. You brought in more depth options. You have more starting capable guys. Like, this is a continuation of where this defense was last year. This was already a top 10 defense last year. They'll be top 8, top 9 this year. There's a lot to love about this defense. The defense, in some ways, really helped this team get to that playoff spot last year and helped them win that playoff game. And I think that's going to be the case here where the offense is going to be good, but they're going to need a couple games here where this defense is really going to have to step up and help them get the job done. So, yeah, you don't really need Stroud to be Superman when you have this defense because this defense can be the Justice League, man. This defense can be awesome. They could be the Avengers, and CJ just occasionally steps in there, and he can get the team over the top, and he can be who would be an addition to the Avengers to help them be better? He can be
Deadpool's too aggressive, but
yeah, because he can't die. He just can't die.
You just give a point.
He could be like, I don't know. He could be just adding the Guardians of the Galaxies to the Avengers. He could just be that guy. He can help the team get there.
I am Groot.
He can be Groot is perfect. I love Groot. Coleridge Bernard Stroud is Groot.
You get some fan art going.
Yes.
Yeah, man. This defense looks fantastic, and especially with their D tackle, Falurunsko Fatakasi.
Yeah.
We get there? We get there? That's
I don't
better.
look at his name. Follow Folorunso Fatukasi.
Folorunso Fatakasi. There you go. Banger. Clip
Banger.
that.
There you go.
Keeping that one. But
Yes.
yes, this defense is awesome, man. You talk about when it's December and it gets cold and the playoffs are on the line and your playoff chances as well. I don't want this is a top 3 defense in my eye. When it comes down to that kind of pressure, they got the edge rushing talent. They got the secondary. It's a no-fly zone. I love it. It's young. It's exciting. Do you know Houston's going to be rocking when it's on the line too? And just let Coleridge do his thing on third down. Let them handle the rest. Anything you want to talk about on this defense? Oh, hold on. Where are we going to rank them? Because last year they were 14th. Where would you rank them this year?
Well, they were 14th in points allowed per game, but they were top 5 in multiple other categories. This will be a top 5, top 6, 7 defense, 7, 8, somewhere around that range. So it's one of the best units out there. It's not the best. I think Denver's right there. There's a couple other teams. Philly's going to be there too. But Houston will have a conversation at the table, which is all that you can ask for.
Of course. Why do you think, if you don't have the answer, that's okay. Why did they allow so many points if all of their categories are top 5?
Probably just a couple games kind of swaying it. You can see they allowed 34 to Minnesota, they scored 41, my apologies, 32 to Tennessee. You can't let that happen, dude.
Can't let that happen.
Can't let Will Levis get 32. It might have been Levis, could have been. 32 versus Tennessee. Just some outlier games. 31 to Baltimore. That was a rough one. You know, those games kind of skew the numbers a little bit. But when you have matchups where you held Dallas to 10, you hold Jacksonville to 20. Most games they're keeping the opponents to less than 25, and then occasionally you have a 27 to Indianapolis, a 34 to Minnesota, so that kind of can throw the balance off. You really want to know how good this defense is. They held Buffalo to 23, they held Kansas City to 27. You know, these really good teams that have great offenses. They held Detroit to 26. They're holding them below 30, which is really good outside of that Baltimore game, which was brutal. So that's why, for me, the number's a little bit higher. Just a couple outlier games that, sometimes just happen.
Well said, man. Top 5 defense potentially, and also a top 15 offense. With that and that hype and that excitement, it's time for the best part of our show. We're going to project the 2025 season game by game. I'm going to feed Metro every game on our schedule, and he's going to give me a W or an L. Here we go. You ready to go, Metro?
Let's hop into it.
Let's do it, man. Week 1, we are on the road. We're going to Los Angeles. It's a 3 p.m. game, and we're playing the Rams to open the season. Awesome matchup. How does this one shake out, Metro?
LA is one of my favorites to win the title next year. I will say the OC, Nick Caley, has some experience, of course, with LA, so he kind of knows some of their weaknesses, some of their strengths. I think that potentially could help the Texans out a lot. Not sure that'll swing the game necessarily, but it could help the Texans. I do think LA is the better team. I think they have so much talent. I think this will be a fun game. This game is going to be close. It can go to overtime. It can go all the way to fourth quarter. But give me the Rams to pull this one out late and just kind of squeak out a victory there.
Very nice. 0-1, a little bit pissed off. Going into week 2, we're back at home. Monday Night Football. No. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are rolling up to our doorstep. A really good team as well. Who's winning this one, Metro?
Tampa Bay's a tough cracker, man. They can just absolutely go. Baker Mayfield can do a lot of things, but this defense for Houston's really good too, and they can hold them in check. I think this is a game where Houston wins pretty comfortably, but albeit a pretty fun game at that. So give me the Texans here.
Let's go. 1-1 in the season, going into week 3 on the road. Very nicely. Maybe not very nice, but Jacksonville we have next on the docket. Travis Hunter, how's this one go at noon?
Great weather. I think you probably would like to go to Jacksonville just for the weather. Maybe you want to stop at the beach while you're there too. Listen, as long as Coleridge isn't out drinking before the game, they should win this one. Coleridge, stay in the hotel, buddy.
Stay in the hotel. Don't break curfew, and you're going to win this game with ease. Week 4, back at home. The Tennessee Titans want to play us in our house. Noon game. Who wins?
Coleridge can stay at the bar because they don't need him to win this game.
That's going to be a 3-1. Is that correct?
That is 3-1.
Belt to ass in the Tennessee Titans. We are back on the road, and it's October, getting a little bit chilly out. And also, we're in a chilly state. We're going to Maryland to play the Baltimore Ravens. Not an easy matchup. How does this one shake out?
Baltimore beat the brakes off them last year. It's a tough matchup. Baltimore's a damn good team. Houston, if they want to win this game, they're going to need their defense to step up big time. I think Baltimore's defensive line and just defense in general is going to cause a lot of problems for Stroud. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game.
Very nice. And does this include Stroud being hungover or not?
Well, if Stroud's hungover, he might actually just go crazy and win the game. So I'm not taking into account any drinks with this one. But Coleridge, if you have a certain drink taste you like, let us know. We'll try it out.
You got it, buddy. Thank you for the analysis. That's A-plus analysis. Week 6, we got a bye week. Rest up, feeling good.
Terrible.
Really early bye week. I will say the only benefit is it's after Baltimore. That's going to be a physical game. But week 6 is brutal, especially for a team that's trying to make the playoffs. Week 7, on the road again. We're going to Seattle, a rowdy crowd. It's October 20th. Probably going to be raining sideways, and it's Monday Night Football. Who wins this one at 9 p.m.?
Yeah, 9 p.m. game. You don't see that very often. That is late. It's at Seattle. Fun game here. I'm going to go Houston to win this one. They get the bye week, get some additional time to get healthy, get some rest. It's a Monday, so you get even more time. It's at 9, so you get even a few more hours. CJ, this is your time to go drinking, my friend. Give me the Texans to beat Seattle here.
News here, we just found out Coleridge is a full-blown alcoholic on the season, but he's having a great season, so we're A-okay. We're going into Week 8. We're back at home. San Francisco's rolling up. How do you see this one shaking out with a team like San Fran?
San Francisco's a good team, but their schedule is so easy that they could probably afford to lose this one and still be totally fine. I think Houston comes out. They're two teams that know each other quite well in a lot of ways because of their coaching staff, of course. D'Amico, coming from San Francisco, have some familiarity there. So I'm going to go with the Texans to win this one, but I think it should be a pretty fun game where you can see Brock Purdy make some nice plays.
Hell yeah. 5-2. We're heating up on the season. Week 9, it's now November 2nd, and we're at home. 3 games in a row, actually, at home. Denver, the Broncos. Much improved team with a young quarterback in Bo Nix and Sean Payton, a head coach. Noon game slate. Who's winning this one?
NFL messed up here. This game should be at 3 or 7. This is an awesome matchup.
Well said.
2 fantastic defenses. This game has the possibility to be like a defensive slugfest or just a straight-up awesome matchup that goes super late into this one. Give me the Broncos. I really love what they're doing over there. I think Sean Payton's a good head coach, and I think Bo Nix can get the job done here.
5-3 going into Week 10. And look who's in our way. Jacksonville Jaguars. We're still at home. How does Travis Hunter fare against our team in this one?
Well, Travis will play good. I have no questions about that. But if Trevor Lawrence gets a haircut, maybe they have a chance. Trevor's probably going to keep the hair long, so give me the Texans to win this one.
Let's go, baby. We're 6-3 on the season. And another just lollipop, Week 11. Yep. I don't want to skew your thoughts anyways. That's my bad. I got to keep it non-biased over here. Week 11 on the road. We're going to Tennessee in Nashville. We're playing the Titans at noon. Who pulls this one out?
Coleridge, go back to the bar. You can have a lollipop while you're there. You're going to get the win, man. At Tennessee, good weather too, by the way. Tennessee is very, very beautiful.
What's it called? Broadway? Their big old street?
I don't know. Nashville, go down to Nashville. They got probably some great bars over there. Coleridge, you're probably not an alcoholic, but if you want to stay healthy this year, you might just have to, buddy. Your offensive line's tough sledding out here. You want to stay healthy, just drink all week.
It all comes back to the O-line. We get a W. We're 7-3, and we're back at home, thank goodness. November 2nd. No, not November 2nd, but November 20th, almost Thanksgiving. Buffalo is rolling up. It's going to be a Thursday night game. We get a 10-day break after this. Who wins this one, Metro? We got CJ. Sorry. What's
Coleridge.
his name? Coleridge.
Coleridge
That's my
Bernard.
bad. That's my bad. Unacceptable. Coleridge, Bernard, Stroud, and, of course, Josh Allen. Who wins this one?
We're 6-3. Or no, we're 7-3, I see. 7-3?
Correct.
Okay. We got Buffalo. Buffalo's a tough matchup. I want to say, did Houston beat Buffalo last year? Yes, they beat Buffalo last year. Clearly, these are 2 teams that are going to be lobbying for playoff spot. This could be a seeding battle between these 2 teams. I think Buffalo is the better team. I know the Texans got the better of them last year, but Josh Allen just got married to Haley Steinfeld. Congratulations to Josh Allen. So he's got a lot of motivation to win this one to keep his marriage afloat. So Buffalo's going to win this one. At 7, great timing, by the way.
Great timing. Great slate, great timing, great wife. Big win right here for Buffalo. Week 13, we're back on the road. We're going to Indianapolis, and this is probably Daniel Jones we're playing at the moment because AR is probably either tired or it worked out and he's still playing. Either or, it's a mess in the QB room. November 30th, 10-day break. Who's winning this?
If it's Daniel Jones or if it's Anthony Richardson, it does not matter. The Houston Texans should be able to beat the Colts. That being said, two teams that have a lot of history together these past few years, so it could be fun, but give me the Texans.
W right there, baby. 8-4 on the season, and we do not care who's at quarterback. We do not care. Week 14 on the road. We're going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Arrowhead, it's going to be rocking December 7th. This will be a cold-ass game with some cold people with cold hearts. It's going to be a real tough one. How does this fare? I'll be watching this personally. Is this it has to be prime time. This is Sunday Night Football. Who wins?
This would be an awesome, awesome moment for Houston to make a statement here. So far this year, they've lost to Buffalo. They've lost to Baltimore. They lost to L.A. They have not beaten any team that is lobbying for a Super Bowl right now. I think, did they beat? No, they lost to Denver too. So, they're kind of cooked right now. I think they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs to make a statement here. And I think this game is going to be very similar to, I want to say it was Week 1, Detroit, Kansas City, where Detroit made just enough plays to win that game. I think Houston gets the win here and really helps their playoff push.
Let's go. 8-4, and we're feeling nicey on the season. Week 15, back at home, 2 home games in a row. First on deck, we have the Arizona Cardinals. How we feeling, Metro? Who's winning this?
Well, they're going into this one feeling great, but they're going to come out of this one feeling really bad because Arizona's going to win this game.
Ooh, tough shit. We're now 8-5 in the season. Back at home again. December 21st, it's almost Christmas time. Santa Claus is coming to town. And so are the Las Vegas Raiders. Who's pulling this one out?
Coleridge, wait for your beer on Christmas because you're going to get some for Christmas. That might be the Week 17 game, by the way. They're going to beat the Raiders here. I love what the Vegas Raiders are doing, but they're still a year or two away. Coleridge is going to help this team get the win here.
Shout out Coleridge. Week 17, and you called it, man. We're on the road. We're playing the Los Angeles Chargers. Who pulls this one out? The Chargers this year, at least from my predictions and yours, I'm pretty sure, will be in playoff contention around this time.
Yes.
So this will be a big one for both teams. We're 10-5. This is big-time seeding. We're likely in the playoffs, but just to ensure it, we need to win this.
Yeah, this game, right now there's not a date or a time put on it yet, so this one could be on Christmas. This one could be on Sunday. It could be a Monday or Thursday. Who knows? Big, massive game with playoff implications for both sides of things here. I just don't think LA has the defensive line to get after the quarterback this year. They have Khalil Mack. They have Tuipulotu. But outside of that, I don't really know if they have that go-to guy. And I think in general, Houston's defense could stuff the run, make Hampton, make Najee work for every yard. And, they don't have the receivers in LA, at least right now, at least. Trey Harris will see what he can do. Ladd McConkey's a star. But give me the Texans to win this one. I think they're the better team.
Let's go, man. We're cooking. We're 11-5. Last game of the season, Week 18. And if we make the playoffs, which we're on track to, we'll do a simulation for that as well. So don't go anywhere. Week 18 at home, Indianapolis. Who wins this one? Who's playing quarterback too? Answer both questions for me.
Man, good question. I'll say Anthony Richardson plays this one. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, either one who does play. I do think Indianapolis is a good team, though. Really competitive roster with a lot of good pieces. Give me Indianapolis to pull this one out. I think this could be Indianapolis maybe going 10-7 here to try to sneak into a wild card spot, something around those lines, because I think they're a good team. Just kind of comes down to quarterback. So this could also be a game where Houston maybe just benches a bunch of guys too, because they already have a spot secured.
It's a good point, brother. Sneaky link, sneaky win. 11-6 on the season. And it's playoff time. We're going into the playoffs, and we likely have the 6th seed, the 7th seed, the 5th seed.
They're going to win the division, so.
Oh, good point. They are going to win the division, so we're looking at minimum of a 4, correct?
Yeah, 4, maybe 3rd. I'm trying to think. Well, because they'll be the 4th seed if they're 11-6, because Buffalo,
guaranteed,
probably a 12-win team. Baltimore, 12 wins, and Kansas City, probably 12. So they're probably the 4th seed, and they're probably matching up against.
Probably an AFC North team, because, maybe the Bengals, the Ravens. No, you don't think so? You don't think it'll make 2 in there?
No, because they would have to be the 5th seed. I don't think the AFC North is all
right.
that great this year. My prediction would be either the Broncos or Chargers right now.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. I'm right there with you, actually. Let's go with the Chargers for effect because we just beat them in Week 17. And we're going to have home field advantage, so they got to roll up to us this time. Who wins this game, Metro? Do you think we can do it?
Yeah, I think Houston can do it. If they can beat them once, then they can beat them twice. What would be a bit more of an interesting matchup would be that Denver matchup because I think that first game is going to be really interesting.
Well, let's do it.
Want to do Denver instead? I think Denver's a little bit better than Chargers.
Let's do it. Let's do Denver. Let me paint the picture. Sorry, we got to be dramatic here. I can't just ask a question.
Go ahead. Paint the picture.
Sunday night. This is the game of the week. All right. Houston Texans. Coleridge, Stroud. This man needs a playoff run to cement his legacy. And he's playing Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and not the Chargers, my bad. They're playing the Denver Broncos. They got Bo Nix, the young quarterback, an excellent defense, maybe the best in the league. A defensive battle. 2 young quarterbacks going head-to-head. How does this one shake out? Metro, give me the lowdown.
We have Coleridge, Bernard Stroud going up against Bo Chapman Nix, who, by the way, ironically was named after former U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon.
What the hell?
Not sure if that's true or not. I just saw it on Google. Anyways, great matchup between 2 great quarterbacks, great matchup versus 2 great defenses. Give me the Texans here. You lose the first one. I still think Denver's a team that I do worry about potential playoff success right now. I think they're 2 to 3 years, maybe not 2, maybe a year or 2 away from any sort of serious playoff success, whereas I think Houston is ready for that big run. So give me the Texans here to move on and advance to the next round.
Big win. That means we're likely playing a 2 or 3 seed because they want to move on as well. And with that being, who wins our AFC Metro in this simulation? Because we're not going to play them.
Well, I mean, are you supposing that another wildcard team wins?
I'm supposing that's a good point. If we have a sweep, that's a very good point. And it's probably going to be us, so we'd probably play the 1 seed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm going to suppose a sweep happens because I don't think Buffalo, Baltimore, or Kansas City is losing in round 1. So the question is, who do you think is going to win the number 1 seed?
I'm with the Ravens, personally.
We can do all 3. Let's just run all 3 really quickly.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start with Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Buffalo's
Buffalo's going to win.
going to win that game. How about the Chiefs?
Ooh. Chiefs get revenge.
Okay, fair. And then finally, the Ravens.
Damn. Ravens are damn good. Give me the Ravens. I think all 3 teams beat the Texans.
I'm there too. So what we're looking at for the ceiling of the Houston Texans after our simulation, we're looking at a playoff win. And if you're crazy good, sneak into maybe the AFC Championship, but probably no further just based on the talent in the AFC. Is that correct?
Yeah, if they're going to make that Super Bowl AFC Championship run, they're going to have to go on like 2022 Bengals run, where Bengals kind of came out of nowhere, upset some teams in the playoffs. If the Texans are going to get there, they're going to have to upset Buffalo, Baltimore, or Kansas City, and they might also have to potentially upset Denver, who can be really good next year. A lot of really good teams, but yeah, the Texans just have to take care of business, and if they can do it, you never know. But right now, my personal guess, really good regular season team, 11, 12, maybe not 13, but 11 or 12 wins, win the division, get to the playoffs, can win a playoff game, maybe could win 2. I have a hard time predicting them to go to the Super Bowl or gets even to the AFC Championship game. It's just the upper echelon talent in the AFC with Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs is just so good. It's hard to predict a team like the Texans, who are also very good, to beat those rosters right now, especially with, I hate to say it, that offensive line.
Right back to the forefront, but you're right, man. And all I could hope for is to get to the playoffs, win your division, and break some hearts. That's a great season. That's a fun season. That is what the NFL is all about. Guys, this is what we predicted. We predicted 11-6 on the season and a playoff win. Go comment down below what you think the Houston Texans will do this year in the 2025 year. Thank you very much. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. It helps the algorithm out a bunch. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best day. Love y'all, Metro. Say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Texans fans, a lot to look forward to. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace out.